All right, guys, let's get into this. We're here on the 5 minute. We had a potential reversal here. Energy's coming out. We ran into a bull versus bear situation. And we had a rejection of the purple tranquility line. And right now that purple tranquility line is holding it down. What we're waiting on right now is this energy to flip, as it did here. And as you know, as you're coming to the end of the energy, you could have a big move. This was a move of about $75 of range. So there's potential for a $75 range move here also, as this is coming to the flip. Because we're in this bybit competition here, I'm going to look to see if we can get an entry here for a small position well underneath that. Let's see. So I'm going to put that order out, see if we can get a little feeler here on that. We got some range here. We're looking at range of about $150 if this does move. So there's potential here to get a nice little bounce play on this. So that's what we're looking at right now. All right, guys, floor goes to you guys. What's your question for today? Oh, wow. Real Mongoose is playing some range here. That's a good question. Well, if you're looking right now in the bodies of these candles, this one here and this one here, you're on support right now at 74.82. So that's where your actual support is. The wicks is just overselling or overbuying. The body, that tells you where your trading range is for the actual meat of the trade. So you've got right here, you're sitting on it, 74.82, setting for 78. So $75.18 gives you a double top. So until we gain, and we're almost there, the purple line of tranquility. Until we gain that, we're all going to have some possible rejection. But because we're doing this for the bybit challenge, it's all about percent gains. So we're going to be using leverage, and then at the same time you have to worry about the fees, because the fees will dig into your profit. So because of those fees digging into your profit, we have to be very meticulous about our entries, because we don't want fees to be costing us because of the leverage we have. So we're meticulous about these entries. But that's why you can see it right there. It's sitting right there on that entry, 74.82. Sitting there right on that entry. You got your wicks, and she's responding with some size. You just know that after the reversal alert came in, that there's a potential for the reversal, and you're just following the energy right now. The energy is coming out to the negative side. It gave you a short alert, it gave you a sell alert, it told you to sell anything if you were long, anything to the left for a trade was gone. But more importantly, guys, we had this breakout or bailout right here. When that breakout or bailout alerts, that tells you there's tons of volume that you can actually short into. The risk being it breaks out. But 90% of the time, guys, this does not break out. It's a failure 90% of the time. So if you're trading this based on math principles, that's a 90% short every single time. 90% short every time. Like, look, up here. Gave you alert. You had it tap into that golden dump line as always, and it dumped. And it's still dumping. It has not regained that golden dump line since. That's the strength of the Ninja Scalper and the TTI, the Trade Trend Indicator. They give you alerts in real time about direction and an idea of strength of that direction. So you had your alert here, you had your sell, you had your short. Potential reversal here, it did reverse. Then you had your hammer as it came down. You had your +2 buy, you had your breakout buy, and again, guys, 90% time this failed, so this was a sell, and basically flat, selling off. We're here for another potential reversal, and again, guys, just like this one gave you a potential reversal, there is potential for a dump before you regain it. It doesn't mean start buying that candle. It says start looking at the levels and looking to enter on those levels. So the lows were here, and anything below that would have been an entry. Hence, you would have caught the wicks. That's just the way we're trying to play it for this bybit challenge, guys. We're trying to play it safe, out of the way. And then the manipulation, the bull versus the bear. But not only are we under the golden dump line, we are now under the purple line of tranquility. As long as we stay under that purple line of tranquility, we're bearish. We must first gain that purple line of tranquility to go long more than a scalp. So the mindset is just going to trade the range. Trading Armada, it depends on the time frame. I personally prefer to use the Heiken Ashi, and the reason why is it's tuned for that, because it gives you a trend from the candles itself, and that's the whole reason for the trade trend indicator, to give you on that trend entries and exit points. So I suggest you use that, but at the same time too, using the regular candles gives you a broad picture. So I will flip back and forth, but when I am trading, 90% to definitely 75% of my entries will be based on what the Heikin Ashi tells me in the lower time frames. And then I would use the regular candles for like the 4 or above time frames. And because of my screen setup where I have 12 monitors, I actually can have them up for both sets. So I can have up my Heikin Ashi 5 minute, I can have my regular candle 5 minute above it. So I can see the whole broad picture on that. So definitely use the Heikin Ashi, and also using context the regular candles too, because not everyone's going to be trading on the regular candles, and not everyone's going to be trading on the Heikin Ashi. So this just gives you a good idea to see both by using both and flipping back and forth. But definitely make sure Heikin Ashi is your majority of the trades set on. Hey Joe, glad you're here. What's the meaning of the cloud we see above the trend? Well, it's pretty black and, well, pretty red and green right now. It's a negative cloud. The cloud is future forward, so it's predicting this sell-off from here where it flipped and literally has been bleeding out. So the cloud means that we're negative. It's also going to be another area of resistance when it moves because of the averages that it's giving you for resistance level. So we knew that when it hit right here at 75.99, it was coming to a cloud resistance. On top of the cloud resistance, you did have the golden dump line. So you knew coming into there was a possible chance of rejection. And it's just giving you a visualization of another area for resistance. And when obviously it's above it, another area of possible support. Because at the end of the day, trading is about getting as much information as you can to make educated, for lack of a better word, guesses on direction. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to play the probability of the math on what you're trading. So for me, the setups that the trade trend indicator give me are better than 70%. So if you're 50-50, you're 50-50. It's a toss-up. But when you're 70%, then you know overall that you're going to have a chance that you're going to be right more than you're wrong, at least 2-to-1. So if you keep your losses small, you will be profitable. And then you factor this in when it gives you an alert that's a trade that's possibly a 70%. You look at it and say, is that, for me, a successful setup? Because that's what it's alerting you. It's alerting you to setups, and then you choose off those setups. Is it successful for you? So for me, some of these I won't trade because I'm not very successful on those setups. And I've known this over my 24 years of trading that's not a setup for me. And when I see an alert on a setup that is what I'm interested in, I go in because I know I'm better than 90% on those setups. And that's what's going to give you your profitability over time. It's the amount of trades. Not one big trade is going to make you rich. Not one big loss should ever affect you to the point that it's going to bankrupt your account. It's the cutting of losses quickly on trades not going your way, and the scaling it on profit on trades that are going to go your way over time. So right now we're just watching this right here, waiting for this to give us a good sell-off. We might be getting that wick action. We'll see. Right now this chart is on bybit. And that's because we're using bybit for the bybit challenge. We're competing in that. Our team has 13 people in it, and we're currently sitting at 84 in the rankings. So about middle of the pack. We have most of the guys in the team only taken a couple trades because of work commitments or other things, such as myself. I've only taken 3 trades. The first trade I used stop losses because I was going to let the trade ride while I was going off to work. And unfortunately, and this is what we're talking about, because of the leverage, when the stop loss hit, the trailing stop loss hit, it actually took more than the profit I had in the trade away from me because of the leverage we were using on the trade. So since then, I've stopped using the stop loss and only trade when I have time to take the trade. Hence why I've only taken 3 trades. And the second trade I took was basically, it was a setup, and I was like, okay, let me enter this and let me get back some of that lost profit just to bring it back to square. So I took that. And then this morning I entered the trade again, and that was the same idea, was to get back that loss. So we got a pull down, and it bounced off the body here. So right now we can say that the body 74.82 is giving us pretty good, strong support. And of course, it'll always be support till it breaks, and then it just becomes failed. So I'm personally waiting for a wick. The reason being is I want to take less risk of actual capital, higher leverage, and be out of the way of a big move by getting entry to my long on a big move. So that setup will mean I will miss these $30 to $40 range trades right now, but it might put me in position to get a much better $70 to $100 range trade with less risk. Because of the tournament we're in, not trading once you already have your one qualifying trade is sometimes actually better for you to sit and wait. And it's only 12 days. So it's like the 12 days of Christmas here. It's a 5-minute candle. But yep, that's the risk you run sometimes, is you miss your entry. But at the same time too, because of the tournament we're in, it sometimes is better to miss the entry and not risk the drawdown. Oh, there goes an alert. You see that? You just got alerted. That's the responsiveness of this. It's telling you. So you should have taken profit right there on that spike if you're a scalper. That alert came out and you should have taken profit. And if you took profit on that, that was a $35, $45 scalp. Not bad. You'd be out 50% to 75% of your position. And then you're just waiting on this turnover. If it turns over without pulling down, great. If it pulls down, you add back. Unfortunately, guys, trading is a lot like fishing. It takes a lot of patience and it's a lot of waiting. You go to your favorite fishing hole, you use your favorite bait to catch your favorite fish. So you sit there with your lure out and you just sit there and wait and stay patient and keep casting. Okay, there we go. We got a +2 buy. We got a turnover here on the energy squeeze. So we've got to build. These are very dangerous times to be in when you get a +2 buy and you're not in the direction of the trade. That usually means you're going to get squeezed as a shorter. But at the same time too, guys, remember, what did we get here? Our bailout or breakout. So we know 90% of the time these fail. So the question is, how far is this going to move before it does dump? Got a whale alert. 1,000 Bitcoin was transferred from an unknown wallet to Binance. We get these alerts. I've set up a couple bots in the Discord room. The Discord room, guys, it's a free room. Anyone can join it. This is the link below. But only those that are in the bybit competition on our team and those that are subscribers to the TTI suite of indicators have access to the inner workings of the room where we have discussions. But it is a free room. Anyone is able to join that and be in the first levels of it. And some members who are members of Crypto Zombie, Telegram, or some of the other groups that I frequent have access to an inner area of that also. Just if you join, say hi, introduce yourself. That way the bot can give you your permissions. Because if you don't have permissions, you will get kicked. It automatically prunes out. So here we are, just waiting right now. We've got an alert at 7,589 cents. It's the bottom of this candle, which is also coincides with the bottom of this candle, top of this candle. That would be an entry area for a long based off this +2 buy. So if this pulls down $18, that's a +2 buy area. Which makes sense because this here is a bailout or breakout. So the bailout or breakout candle was 33. So a pullback of $33 would give you an entry on this one. And remember, it's just to start building a position. So we would start at 70 even. I would also put one at 74.82. And it would give you an average of 74.91-ish. And that would be your starter. 74.90-ish. Patience, guys. Just let the fishing come to you. And remember, guys, once you're in your long and your long breaks, you do not let it close back beneath the EMA that you entered. Pay close attention. We're at the breakout or bailout area right now. 75.33. Remember, 90% of the time it fails. That this is usually a good area to go short. Remember that, guys. I keep saying that to you guys. The breakout or bailout, 90% of the time it fails. It's a good time to go short. Now, if we're trading traditional stocks, this is actually a time to go long because traditionally 90% of the time it breaks out. It's just with Bitcoin. For whatever reason, Bitcoin 90% of the time, bailout or breakout does not get sustained momentum after this point. So be mindful because there's also that 10% time where it does break out that if you are going to do this, your stop is obviously the golden dump line. So 75.40, 75.41. If you're not going to add to your short, you're exiting your trade. Remember, as I said, guys, it's got to gain that purple line of tranquility. Well, it gained it here. It's held it. So this was a long. You had the alert earlier that was a sell this. You could have came back in and bought it here. But it's above that. First target literally has been tapped. It's always the golden dump line is your first target. As I told everyone when that alert came up, you should have been out 50 to 75% your position. By doing that, you've now locked in that even if you go to break even, minus trading fees, obviously, guys, because like each exchange is different. But if you go back to break even on the rest, you still would have made profit. If it was a 5% move and you go to break even on your half, you're going to lock yourself in for 2.5% return. If it was a 5% move and you locked in 75%, you've locked yourself in for almost a 3.5% return. That's why I always suggest selling 50% to 75%. For me personally, I always try and get out 75%. That way we can be ahead of the fees. But if you wish to stay in this right now, you are good to be staying into it. Only problem is you got to worry about fees, which is why for the competition, I sell on the ass to get out that risk. But this candle right now is above, trading on the wicks for another 48 seconds. This breakout or bailout. And it is $1-ish from the candle wick top from the resistance. So that's you're mindful. That's what you're looking at. Will it cross the golden dump line? So we're just watching it there. Will it cross the golden dump line? Now remember, guys, we've already gone 3 candles into the reversal of the energy. So we're waiting on the energy to build. The color of the green is lightening. The very first dark green was dark. It's getting lighter, which means the energy is leaving. So unless we get a move soon, we may not have sustained energy to break through that golden dump line. So we've got all these things here that are supporting the fact that the breakout or bailout 90% of the time works as a short signal. Wait for this next candle to wick up. Some royalty-free music, guys, for you guys to jam to as we sit here fishing, waiting on this. It's our first red candle after a long stretch of greens. Let's see if we get a bull versus bear setup where someone trying to hold this up. Or if they just let this one go. Yeah, it looks like they're going to hold us up, fill some shorts. And then flush the toilet on this one. So we have a joke. When price is flush, we're asking if is it a North American flush or is it Australian flush? Because how it spins into the vortex, it spins backwards in Australia. So that's the question here. North American or Australian vortex? Oh, I didn't even see that. 75.39 was hit. We got a tap there. Wasn't paying attention, my bad. We got our tap. If you hold your cursor over the actual candle, it gives you your numbers up here with TradingView. And that's how you know what the candles did. So we're just waiting to see if we're going to get that bull versus bear here, where someone holds this up to completely fill their short position. It's another alert just popped on the screen right there. That's how responsive these alerts are, guys. And I love live trading. If this was a more of a centralized market, such as the stock market, you know what? Maybe we'll even do that one day. We'll live stream me trading the stock market, just to show you how the indicator works well on traditional markets too. Because we can do some pretty fantastic things because of just the setups that we'll get alerted to in the traditional market, because it's all on one exchange, right? As opposed to this, we're trading one exchange, but it's affected by a group of other exchanges, such as a basket here. Yes, definitely. Oh, getting a little bit of the Australian flush. The Aussie flush, as they say. Boom, 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 boom. There we are. We're back to that 7,500, guys. I told you could be an area to enter at. And that's going to be an area where you're going to get shorts to cover, so we're going to get a bit of a bounce. And crash. Let's go right through it. Sell pressure is increasing. Don't want this hammer to stand. It's probably going to. Irks me a little bit. So for that reason, gonna watch this bounce. Yeah, look at that. Come on back down. Give me a crash. So that's your bounce. Some shorts will come back in because they've covered. We'll now re-short that bounce, knowing that their average is higher. They can go back in and get more sell pressure to crush this back down and through. Just waiting right here. Seeing this goes through 7,500 again. Should, because this is the Australian flush. The gamers are in. The gamers are in. Look at them holding that. Okay. Now let's see if this holds under 75.10. Because we got some large size trying to cover. That's what it looks like. Of course, all speculation because this is a derivative market, which means there's tons of stuff going on in other markets that are affecting this market. It's not necessarily just what's going on in this exchange, per se. So, that was a relief bounce. Now we're just waiting to see what's going on. Staying on the 75.10. So we're still in this Aussie short. We got Mongoose here, his 1% rule. The guy's been fantastic with that, and I've actually incorporated that into our training for guys in this competition because 1% adds up over time. Reduces the risk of the drawdown. So we're just waiting here on this confirmation. It needs to break 7,500 one more time. We have 2 minutes left in this 5-minute candle. I'm going to change it. So, the real Mongoose here. So there we go, staying under. Let's get it one more flush. It broke over. Okay, so we're getting some sell pressure again. Stacking. But you know what? Here we go. 2 to 1 bids to ask. It's stacking. We needed to break under. It's the backside now of the momentum. If you guys can see it, starting to curve. It's the backside. Energy is dissipating. But I'm not liking how it's increasing here. It's being held down. Literally, this could be it. So, just going to watch this rotate through. There we go. We got a rotation. That 1500 has been strong. As I say that, look at that. Just watching that candle. See, it's light green now on the energy right here. So this is definitely the backside of the move coming out. That being said, it can still stretch. Even though this was green, it dumped. So even though it's green, it could build. Anything is possible. All this is telling you is the energy is coming out, that there's a transfer. Alright guys, I closed out my short. I no longer have a position. I closed it out. Unfortunately, I didn't get all of it lower because I was getting a little bit greedy. I had put my cover at 75.89, and then I was going to switch long at 74.89, and I was going to switch long at 74.82. Didn't quite work out. Closed out my short from 75.33, 75.15. I got more 75.05, and then I had to go back in at 75.12.50 to close out the rest of it. Using the mongoose, the real mongoose rule of 1%, it's ingenious way to keep yourself in the game. So that little trade on what I had put in, look at it, this is bouncing right now. That was a 5.64% profit on that little scalp position. So small little win. Didn't notice it had gone to 75.39, and it actually had filled my short for my starter size. So we kind of got lucky there on that one while we were waiting. And now it's bouncing, but it's bouncing off the area we said that it would. So that's the issue with the +2 buys, guys. If you're going to go backwards, like look at that. Look at that +2 buy. Boom. The bottom of the candle is where it bounced. That hammer. So you got your entry. You're now in it. You're now up $23 to $25. In the contest, that's great if you use a little bit of leverage. For us, that was almost 6% little win there on that starter. So got to see all the signs, guys, right? But that's why I keep saying, got to close out, got to close out, got to close out. So luckily I took off my, what were my percentages on that? 50%. I closed at 75.15. And then I closed another 20%, 75.05. So it was roughly 30% that I had to go close out into, and then pay a maker fee. But the beauty of it, because I closed out the other ones, they should negate the fee I paid for that one. I should be able to keep the profit on that full trade. And every little bit counts, guys, when you're in a team trading event like this. Every little bit counts because it's for the team. So it's a nice turnaround for me, because my very first trade, unfortunately, was a loser because I had entered the trade and then I let my stop loss run, and it was only a $3 stop loss. But when that stop loss triggered, because of the amount of leverage I had, it actually took all the profit. It actually had me in negative. As you see, we're coming up here. Golden dump liner is right here, 75.33, and we're coming right into that cloud. For the trader who asks about what the cloud means, it's a negative right now. It's coming up as a resistance, and we're, all intents and purposes, we're touching it. Bybit doesn't do contracts of less than 50 cents, so all intents and purposes, we're touching the cloud, and we're just watching this energy come out. Like I said, remember when I told you it was going light green here, but I didn't like how the candle on the squeeze was actually increasing? Well, that's why I don't like the candle on the squeeze, because it means more energy is coming in, even though you're on the backside. Thus the move, right? If you're shorting, it would have been great to short into, because again, breakout or bailout. There's your top, 75.33-ish. So you would be getting short again if you're going to do that, waiting for it. But for me, it's one and done. It's hard to trade and commentate. It's one thing to trade and just go live and, like, you know, talk about the old trade that, but to actually commentate on what you're seeing, what you're doing, it's really, really hard. But we closed out, took our small little gain. But that gain has got us green. And that's what's important for this contest, is we're green. I'm surprised that this didn't print a bull versus bear situation. I'm surprised that one didn't. But that's good, because this here means it was pure manipulation going on when it prints, because it's that obvious. We didn't see one here. We didn't see one here, but this is more of a spinning top. And this here could be construed as a shooting star, if you wish, or an inverted hammer. This is a hammer for sure. This is a hammer for sure. And that's just a thumbtack. So guys, that's how I use TTI squeeze with the Ninja Scalper. I use them both. And then the MSQO, the momentum squeezing oscillator. As you can see, the energy is now going green. We've got that spinning top. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up in KW, Crypto Zombies, Telegram. I send everyone there because he runs a good Telegram. He manages it. If you're interested in acquiring the use of any of my trading tools, you can hit me up on TradingView, same name, Cyrus Twits. Hit me up on Twitter, same name, Cyrus Twits. Follow my YouTube, same name, Cyrus Twits. And hit me up in Discord, again, same name, Cyrus Twits. As always, guys, this has been the Cyrus Twits for Ascend Trading. Out.